Hi guys, and we're back to episode 12 of my Ymir tutorial series. So, in the last episode, we hit a major milestone, which was completing taking leadership. This episode, I'm going to unravel what that now means we can do, and try and set our way forward to achieve the next major milestone, which is metallurgy. But I don't think the game's told us that yet. So we need to get on with the leadership stuff first. So, first off, we've now got a lot of soldiers, as you can see here, who are all deserting because we just don't have the population to support them, and this is going to the military support. So what this is saying is when the new generations are born, there isn't actually enough people in the village to cover the amount of soldiers, and so the soldiers are just not able to be fulfilled. So what we're going to have to really quickly do is I'm actually going to do a few things. And the first thing I'm going to do is now due to leadership. If we come to knowledge, we now have a new tech, called taking leadership. It doesn't cost us any research, and it's quite quick to do. Once we get that, we'll unlock a set of new policies. You can see here, leadership by the people, protect of the people, and a new territorial status called the colony. And I'll talk about these, talk about how they improve the game, everything about leadership good. It doesn't come with any sort of negatives. It's a straight improvement on the current situation. Brilliant. So leadership is just completed. So I've come to the government screen, and now I need to implement the new policies. So we've got band society. This is the starting society you get. You click add. There's now leadership. It gives you 35 more state power. That will cover our state power problem. It gives us double the capital administration, meaning our capital can support more people on an administrative level. And it also adds in the leader role. But it also adds in leader superiority, but you don't need to worry about that too much. That's not really a major thing. So we're going to click apply, and this is a big improvement on our loyalty situation because we've now come out of negative state power to positive state power, and our capital has more administration. So you can see here conflict is going from 82 to 56. That in turn will massively increase our loyalty, which means we can disband a lot of these armies so we can get back the jobs, and we can fix the situation in Redwood. And now we've done that, we've now got the Metallurgy Tech. So the Metallurgy Tech, after leadership, is the most important tech in the early game. It unlocks everything you need to progress into the Copper Age. It is the start of the Copper Age. It unlocks, when you get it, the farm level 2 building with plant selection, as you can see there. The level 2 house building, which allows you to massively increase your population, especially in your capital where you aim to get this fulfilled. It unlocks a new woodcutter. The new toolmaker, level 2, which halves the amount of workers you need to operate that building, so that's really good. And it unlocks a new woodcutter, but that's not a major one. So the ones you want to look out for is the level 2 house, the toolmaker, and the level 2 farm. But you can also see it unlocks a mining camp, which is a new building, and a foundry, which is a new building. This is so you can mine copper and other ores in the game and smelt them. You can also see here that now we've unlocked this technology, even though we haven't researched it, it allows us to reveal and discover copper, silver, and gold deposits on the map. So now if we start looking on these map tiles, we can actually find tiles that have deposits of copper, tin, and silver, I think it was, completely wrong. Copper, silver, and gold. Tin is later on, and it's a very important resource. So copper has a 20% chance to have a deposit on a territory. Much more likely on mountain tiles, but it may spawn on small grasslands. But again, mountains and hills are most likely. Gold has a 3% chance to spawn on a tile. Silver has a 5%. So the value of the gold and silver is the rarity of it, obviously, but also it takes a lot more resources and production to actually make the gold and silver bar, so that's where their wealth comes. And a little tip now I'll give: if you find gold or silver near you, make it a priority to try and take that land. In the late game, gold and silver is worth a lot of money. Not only can you sell it on the market for a huge amount of money if the right players are on the server who want it, but you can also get late game technologies that mean the more gold and silver you have based off of stock levels, you actually get an increase in your score level. So if you get 10 gold bars, you get a 1% increase in your wealth, and 40 silver bars, you get a 1% increase in your wealth. So you can see from that, 1 gold bar is 4 times more valuable than 1 silver bar. So that may seem a bit irrelevant at the moment, and it mostly is, but you just need to know the precious metals, the silver and gold, are really, really valuable, and if you've got some near you, protect them at all costs. If you're very lucky and you get silver or gold in your capital, make use of that, because the extra wealth generated will massively help you in the early game to get more taxes. A lot of rambling, but it is useful stuff to know about. So now we've got that sorted with the leadership, and our loyalty situation is much better. I'm going to continue to fire these soldiers. I just don't need them. Again, in the multiplayer game, you may want to keep them because you want to scout with them, or you want to keep up a good defense against warring players nearby or aggressive players nearby. Again, I've already said there's no barbarians near us, and obviously there's no players near us, so I don't need them. I'm going to keep the jobs. One little thing I want to say about barbarians is, in the single player, multiplayer barbarians aren't a problem at all, really, especially not in the mid to late game. But in the single player, they can be an absolute huge problem. Barbarians are something you want to take out early with javelin men, but barbarians only attack you when I think they're within 4 tiles. So you can see here, there's no barbarian camps 4 tiles any direction of us, and so no barbarians are attacking. If, however, we settled like our city Tosar here, and there's one 3 tiles above, they may attack Tosar, but it doesn't seem like that's happening. So barbarians are very luckily not a threat on this single player game. So I'm going to head into the territory, and I'm going to show you a few things I want to get set up now. And I'm also going to be looking for copper and precious metals, obviously, but I probably won't find them. So copper, I'm going to be scouting the tiles near me for copper, because we're going to assume we're playing a multiplayer game and we're the first to get metallurgy. We want to rush to try and claim all the spots, as copper is extremely valuable, especially in the early game. So scouting around our territory here, we can see we have got no metals. That is not a surprise at all. We didn't have any hill spots on this territory, and we are just a flat grassland. Well, not grassland, but like a flat area. So it wasn't likely to get any anyway. With the leadership technology, we haven't unlocked any new buildings, but we have got some new techs here, and most importantly, smoking hides. So I'm going to put the 5 guys into this. And we can spend 30 leather. What you should always aim to do is invest your resources like I've just done there, getting new technologies. It is really important you get the next technology as soon as possible, because upgrading your production buildings, such as the leather clothes makers, the tanneries, or the potters, is really important to improving your wealth, and then obviously your tax levels, and also just your general score and your power in the server. So upgrading and getting them done as soon as possible is really good. So now that you've seen that we unlock the technologies like the smoking hides and the potter's wheel, stockpile clay and leather ready for them by going to the maintain stock, setting leather to be stocked there, or just by building more of those production buildings to acquire those resources early on. You can see here we are recovering. We lost porcos in the revolution, but we also lost a lot of jobs due to all those javelin men. So now we've got them back. We are fulfilling jobs again, and we're also growing our population, because now conflict is reducing. We're getting even more people back, because if we come to growth here, you can actually see murders is directly related to conflict. It's caused by conflict. So as conflict reduces, less murders occur, which means the population rises again. So a conflict drop not only gives you more loyalty, it also gives you more population. So conflict is really important one to manage as well. What I want to show you guys next is a very important addition with leadership. And this really is what makes leadership so important to rush. not only do you get the better state powers, you can host 2 cities. You can get a third one and be negative, but I'd just say stick with 2 for now. But you can now claim. So if you select an army, not a national army, it has to be an army, hold right click, and territories, these little tiles next to a city you own, you can actually claim. So you can claim territory, and it will say parent territory is Redwood, this is our capital. Boom, we have now claimed this territory, which means nobody who doesn't have open borders with us can walk in this territory. And it means you can build cities on here freely. It also importantly means you use less action points to move on them. So if we see here, moving to this territory now costs us 3 action points, whereas this one it costs 6. So it costs half the action points, and we can see this by looking here. Diplomatic stance, own territory, minus 50% movement. So owning the territories gives you faster movement speed, less movement cost, and it also means you claim those tiles so you can build on them later if you want. With your capital, if you come over here and get to capital, you can see 8 free territorial claims. So we've currently got 3. I'm going to claim 5 more. And you want to try and claim the best tiles you think will have long-term benefits. Because you've got to remember, everybody's going to be rushing to claim their own tiles. So tiles that are of use are swamp tiles, maybe just 1, so you get lots of clay later on. Hill tiles, hill and mountain tiles, so you're more likely to get rare metals. River tiles, just for the better agricultural purposes and just city overall purposes. Coastal tiles if you're interested in fish or trading, and if not, any old tile will do. In Ymir, it isn't like a win or lose based on your tiles. Well, not fully. Like, if you're an experienced player, you can make any tile work, because you find that actually, once you've got your core city down, your farms, the tile can make a lot of money either way. I've had servers where I have very basic tiles, made a huge amount of money, and servers where I've actually had precious metals on my tiles, and I've actually struggled to run them. So a simple old flatland tile can do you just fine. This video so far has been a lot of pure talking, and that's because going into leadership has brought up a lot of new changes. I'm now just going to spend the game just claiming a few more tiles around just to expand our area, and looking for copper tiles in these nearby tiles to see if there's any spots where we can get a new city up. So I'll be with you guys then. So a technology has just popped up. I deserve retribution. This technology pops up just as you get leadership, and it is the first step to earning money. So we're currently in the gift economy still, just like we have been for the rest of the game, which is where the people all own the goods created in the village, and they just share it between each other. There's no money, there's no trading. Everybody generates goods or generates services, and they all claim it. Soon, we'll move to an economic system like we have in the real world, the modern world I should say, which is based off of exchanging values based on their wealth. Then that leads to money and exchanging money, which is just another form of wealth. So we will need to get taxes from our porcos so we can actually pay for new things and buy products off of our people. The first step to taxes in Ymir is called privileges, and privileges is a tax on your capital where you can acquire 25% of the capital's wealth. So if we look here, this is the wealth generated in our capital, 169 objective wealth. It doesn't matter what's being generated here, that is what the game is assigned as the value of the goods generated in this city. 25% of that will be converted into coins, and that will be then given to our treasury, put into our treasury I should say, which we can then spend. So privileges is really important. What you need to know about privileges is it only affects your capital, and it's 25% of the wealth. So developing your capital throughout the game is very important, but in the early game, developing your capital as an economic superpower, especially relative to your other cities. It's really, really important. We could develop Tassar as much as we wanted, but we won't be earning very much tax from it. Speaking of tax, there is no form of early game tax, but there is a system that earns you money, and I think it's 20% of the income or 25% of the income. So the privileges give you 25% of your capital's wealth, and that's converted to coins. Another one is called Voluntary Contributions, where I think it's 20% of the porcos' money is given to you. So you will still earn about 20% of the money in these cities, but your capital will be your main focus. So developing your capital to be really strong is really important. It should always be the place you develop first. So with privileges unlocked, we're going to go to power, add, and now we've got privileges. So a few things I'm going to discuss here. Adding privileges gives your population more conflict. That's quite obvious. The people now have to give you some of their stuff. They're not happy about that. Where it gets a little bit more confusing, and you don't need to worry, is these things here. Enables leader privileges. You want to set this to the highest possible, which is 98%. Sorry, mixed up. 25%. So privileges rate is the amount of wealth given to your leader from the city. So 25% is the max, and you want it at 25%. Leader's Treasury Contribution is the amount of money from that 25% he's taken, your leader's taken, that he then puts into the treasury that you can spend. So you want to set this to the highest possible, which is 98%. If you set it a little bit lower, let's say 95%, it means your leader will acquire more money, which means he can buy more goods and he will seem more superior. A little bit complicated. You don't need to worry too much about that just yet, and I can show you guys what I mean by this in a bit later. But I'd say just set them 25% and 98%. Add in reform, apply. That's going to cost us 5 coins and 5 state power. We don't have coins at the moment, but it does cost us 5 state power. You want to now come to legitimacy, and we've got several things. Superior leader, by the people, and protector of the people. Legitimacy is how legitimate your people think your ruler is, how actually authorized they think your ruler is. The higher the better, and the more stability you will have. So protector of the people is saying more military gives you more legitimacy. By the people just gives you a flat one, and superior leader means the more money and wealth your leader has, the more legitimacy you have. So you can see here, legit wealth is at 10, so we're getting 5 more. So that's how your leader affects it. So obviously we actually got a leader role, and we can see his money is increasing. He's not going to go to 45, but we can see that it is increasing. Actually, it is, because we don't actually have money. Never mind. We'll get money soon, I promise, guys. So anyway, I'm going to end the video there. It's been a shorter one, it's still 20 minutes long, but I've covered everything I want to do about leadership. I've talked about what leadership brings in, how you can use that straight away to your advantage, just claiming tiles and the state power, and we've just talked about privileges as well, and how that will lead up to help us improve when we get to the bartering stage. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, if you could leave it a like, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you've been watching this series this far in and you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you did, so I can see that you guys are enjoying the series and enjoying the Ymir stuff, so I can make more of it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in episode 13.